Well, thank you, everyone. This is As It Is, Volume 2 by Tulku Orgyen Rinpoche, translated by Erik, Pema, Kunsang. We're still in the chapter on the iron rod technique. The whole point of which is don't attempt to produce stillness. The Dzogchen meditation does not require that your mind have no objects in it, that you nullify the environment in some way. It's working with the environment, leaving it as it already is, letting it be in that way. Because if you fight with it, what you're really doing is just giving more energy to it. And when you give it more energy, well, it swirls. Karma is fed. Your problems do not lessen. So let's read. So here, Tulku Orgyen Rinpoche says, seeing no thing is the supreme sight. When looking at objects, you don't see mind, but they are all experienced by mind. It is mind that sees objects. When it comes to recognizing the empty essence of mind, there is no need to chase after it as if it was an object, because it is mind which experiences objects. At that moment of recognizing, objects are of no consequence. They do not affect the essence. Objects themselves don't experience. Earth doesn't see water, water doesn't see fire, fire doesn't see wind, and so on. Thoughts can't think, for example. Yeah. And of course, there is no real looking at objects. There's no way to really look at an object. It always is mind looking at mind. From the beginning. An object is like a layer added by the sixth consciousness on top of the perception, producing a conceptual explanation of what you're looking at. So if you're looking at a tree, the object would be thinking tree, tree, tree. And you can experience the perception of a tree without thinking tree, tree, tree. In particular, if that concept arises, it can liberate. If you rest, the concept can go away. It's not the case that every time you stare at an object, you constantly are reiterating the name of that object. It's an additional layer, and that layer can fall off. And then it's very obvious that you were just looking at mind. It's called mind. It doesn't really matter what you call it. So Rinpoche says, only mind can experience. While being empty, it is not stuck here. Any experience can unfold. Yeah, mind is not limited. It can feel limited when there's involvement in karma, but even individual phenomena are not really limited. If a thought arises, it's called a contraction, if there's a contraction. But what if a thought arises and there's no contraction? Is the thought ineffable? Yes. You can't touch it. There's no substance there. You've never found it. Does the thought have a border? Dago says that's no traction. But does a thought have a border? Is there a line between this thought and something other than the thought? Just one phenomenon, one thought, we can isolate it. You know you've never found a border. Well, what does that mean? Is that not the phenomenon being open? Is it experienced with presence? Yes. And with no way to divide that thought, no particular characteristics hanging off it, it's one in the totalness of the presence. And that's a thought, the thing that people fight with and try to get rid of. Why would you want to get rid of that? You see, you don't need to fight with that. It's mind, it's awareness, it's presence, whatever you want to call it. So Rinpoche says, there's no need to hold on to being the experiencer of a particular experience. The moment you leave everything wide open, free from clinging and fixation, you discover that the concepts of perceiver and perceived naturally subside. Yeah, even in the vision, for example, you're not looking at anything. There are like 3 conceptual simplifications of keeping the eyes open while meditating. The first one is having the eyes open, looking at objects. That would be like Sutrayana. Well, if the objectification subsides a little bit by being left alone, as it naturally does, well, then you can become aware of this space. And so you can gaze out of your eyes just into space, object-free space. Now, this is like Mahayana. And then you can gaze not even into space. Notice that no one is gazing. It's just the appearance of pure vision. There's no out and there's no in. There's just mind cognizant of mind. And so that's Vajrayana. I don't remember why I'm talking about that, but very good. Nima likes it. Oh yeah, no experiencer. Right. Yeah. You can see this in little things. You can go and play around with it. And it's just held up by concept, like Rinpoche says. It's the idea of a perceiver is just an idea. It's like this tiny little feeling. It's so tiny. If there's an assumption that it's like some big end boss, it's not like that. It's the slightest belief. And it's not always there for you either. I'm confident that's true for everyone. So you can notice when it's not there. And if you can call it into recognition, you can see it fade away. Yeah. So Rinpoche says, the fuel of further samsara is exactly these dualistic concepts. When the perceiver and perceived naturally vanish, what is there to keep samsara alive? Train in this. And for Dzogchen, of course, we don't make a distinction between samsara and nirvana ultimately. So it's not that phenomena, these samsaric displays, vanish. They already are nirvana. And so without creating a perceiver, they just become what they were the whole time. Nothing is really different. They're just seen as they are. And that's what it means for samsara to vanish. It's not the iron rod. It's not a blank nothingness. And so to train in this, it's like crossing 100 rivers over one bridge. It is like cutting a tree's 84,000 branches and leaves by a single slash to its main root. All 84,000 branches will wither simultaneously. If you cut the root of just this dualistic mind, you simultaneously cut through the 84,000 kinds of disturbing emotions. This is what to train in, just this. Can you trust this? He asks. Can you feel confident in this now? And this means, of course, not going back to antidotes. Everyone has learned many different antidotes to deal with problems, and this is the time to put them down and to gain confidence that just resting in pure presence is sufficient. It's the only way to not stir energy. Any antidoting is just replacing one thing with another thing. It seems like it's getting better, but how could anything get better? What does that mean? You can't approach Buddhahood. So to let go of improving, it's a big step. That's why he says, right? Train in it, and can you trust it? And the trust can come in two ways. Either you can find a teacher that you really, really have faith in, and the teacher can tell you, this is the sole remedy. And you believe them so strongly that you actually practice it. That's rare these days. And no problem if not. The other way is just try it. If you're really suffering, you have some strong afflictive emotion that's really bothering you, and you want to do something about it, you can do something about it later. Take like 3 minutes and try just being with it. What happens? You have to see. When you see what happens, it builds confidence. And then you know with certainty that what the teacher told you is correct because you've seen it. You verified it for yourself. You will experience a little bit of relief. Maybe the emotion will come back after, but you know that in that moment you experienced relief. That's how to put down antidotes. That's how to build confidence in yourself. So he asked this non-rhetorically, I guess, while looking at someone, and a student answered, yes, they can trust this. So Rinpoche said, what is the use of just being empty and void? Do you think that's useful? And the student said, no, which is a good answer. And the Rinpoche says, the empty quality of the essence is Dharmakaya. The cognizant quality is Sambhogakaya. And the unity of being empty and cognizant is called Nirmanakaya. The moment you recognize mind essence, you are face to face with the three kayas. When you do not recognize, you experience the three poisons. To cut through the three poisons, recognize mind essence. Knowing one frees all, he quotes. The moment you recognize this unity of being empty and cognizant, all the 84,000 kinds of disturbing emotions are simultaneously liberated. Knowing one frees all, he quotes again. Knowing this one essence liberates all states of dualistic mind. But it is also possible to know 100 while missing one. Or, as is often said, not knowing the thatness of mind, whatever you do is upside down. And this refers to people who collect an amazing assortment of different antidotes for different people. There is a school not too far from me where they actually memorize a bunch of different antidotes so they can be like the Buddha, who said the appropriate thing to whoever approached him. They believe that if they memorize everything that the Buddha said, no matter who approaches them, they'll be able to match the right teaching to that moment. And so Tulku Orgyen here is calling that knowing 100 while missing one. They do not carry an iron rod, Dago asks. Regrettably so. They're very kind. They're very nice. Yeah, Tim asks, what is thatness? Yeah, it's the same as suchness. It's just another word for the same thing. The suchness of mind in the moment, which is non-conceptual, you know? Here we don't say, it's this, or it's as it is right now. You can say these things, but it's not really like that. So it's not too important, the particular word thatness or suchness. You don't want to attach to it and form an understanding out of it. Just because that's a big word, at least online, that people get trapped on. I don't think we have that problem here, but since this is going on YouTube, it might be worth saying. Oh yeah, that's a good point. Dago says that it can relate to the Tibetan Ni, which is like the nis. You know, we have Cho, which is phenomena, and Cho Ni, which is the nature of phenomena. Or Sem, which is conditioned mind, and then Sem Ni, which is the nature of conditioned mind, which is, of course, awareness, no mind. So whenever you see a nis, it always refers to the nature, which is always awareness. Yeah. So Rinpoche says here, the thatness of mind is the moment when you recognize that there is nothing to see. It is empty. Yet, there is knowing. This means experience is empty, and while being empty, there is still an experience that is totally wide open, unimpeded. This is the thatness of mind, the reality of mind. Without knowing this reality, whatever you do is upside down. All accomplishment comes through recognizing this actuality, the thatness of mind. Just substituting nature would be sufficient. So without recognizing this, whatever we do is upside down. And I think that's a nice place to stop. Thank you, Yeshe. And thanks for all the comments. That's fun. Any sharings about this? Thoughts, comments, questions? All right, everyone's good? Oh, thank you, Doc. Although, of course, we're still on a retreat, so don't you end anything. So any merit we may have gathered here today. Let's remember the sentient beings in this presence who are suffering, alone and confused, and be with them together. Give them all this merit in a moment of silence. Thank you, everyone.